Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do a quick story or post titled, Am I the a-hole for telling every dude my sister-in-law brings around the truth about her? And guys, this story is definitely a great example of a guy sticking to the code. Sticking to the guy code, bros before, you know what, etc. And in this story, guys, what's going down here is this. This guy's married. And sounds like he has a pretty good relationship with his wife. However, he cannot stand her sister. His sister-in-law is a complete piece of garbage. She is exactly like so many of these gals in these stories I cover. A liar, a cheater, drama, just a big freaking mess. But his wife doesn't have a whole lot of family, so she's close to her nevertheless. And you're going to see in the story, guys, this woman, obviously, like I said, does a lot of the things that a lot of these gals do in these stories. And she ended up ruining a great relationship with a really good guy this guy was close with. And now he is warning every single dude that she gets involved with the truth about her. Every time she comes over to his house and brings one of these guys over, he asks them about her and all that. And as you can imagine, it's causing a lot of turmoil with him and her and also his wife. And she's pissed at him about this, even though he's warning these guys because the previous relationship ended in disaster for the guy. And in my opinion, guys, I always talk about this all the time. You got to help guys out. Okay, this is what I do on here, and I get a whole lot of hate for that. As well as you guys. You got to do the same thing and speak the truth. And believe me, it doesn't make a difference even if it's your wife's sister or your own sister. You got to warn these guys. Otherwise, these guys are going to fall for their BS. You know, I mean, because you're going to see a lot of this story, guys. Like I said, bros before the you-know-whats. But also, as I mentioned in other stories, you always have to pay attention to a girl's family and who she hangs out with, because one day that's going to be your family. And if this guy had known that, maybe he wouldn't have gotten involved with his wife and be always butting heads and having conflict with his sister-in-law. And she's going to impact the wife as well. It's a very important thing. And also how so many gals can put on the whole Oscar-worthy performance of being this sweet and innocent and kind and wonderful, and then when they get their claws in the guy, then they show their true colors. It's really sad. So I'm going to go through this, guys, and share my opinion on this particular subject. So it starts off, says here, so weird situation, and one I feel it needs a real verdict where I can be impartial. So I am a 30-year-old male, and I've been married for 3 years to my wife, Nicole. Nicole has a sister named Bella, who I absolutely despise. Just the kind of person I don't get along with. Never have since the moment we met. I've tried everything to keep it cordial between us. In my opinion, she's petty, self-centered, and just a scumbag. But my wife doesn't have a ton of family outside of her sister and her mom, so they have always been close. So he really sets the stage here for her personality. And I really do believe this guy's being accurate and fair here. Now again, if he had known the things I talk about, maybe when he started dating his wife and started getting serious with her, he would meet her family and see what she's like and realize, because he said from the beginning, the moment they met, they weren't getting along, and he saw her for what she is. These are signs that you don't get involved with a girl because of it. And is it kind of a shame sometimes if you have a girl that seemingly has a lot of good things going for her, but her family's a bunch of wackos? Sure, but you really want to risk that? You really want to risk that impacting your relationship? And especially if you get married? It's a very important question to ask. I know you guys want to hear the story, but this is also a teaching channel. Well, for a long time, Bella was dating this dude named Cody. Me and Cody actually liked each other and would hang out. Well, Bella not only cheated on Cody, but the way she did it and who she did it was awful. Totally crushed Cody, and Bella wouldn't let it go. She kept on contacting and showing up at his place until he eventually filed a restraining order. What does this say about her? She always tried to act like Cody was the issue, and he forced her to do it. I stayed out of the whole mess, basically telling my wife that she handles her family and I'll handle mine. But just don't ask me to be kind to Bella or even cordial moving forward. As I said, seen her true colors, and I don't want her around my life at all, because God knows what she's capable of. There you go. Cheating on the guy many, many times with some lowlife because her boyfriend was a good guy, and then harassing him that he had to do a restraining order and twisting it around to make it out to be his fault. In other words, you can't blame this guy for not wanting her around. He's not going to be nice to her or anything like that. Quite frankly, I'd say she's not coming to our house. You want to see her? Go to her house. End of story. So recently, Bella has started dating once again. And for some reason, feels the need to bring these dudes over to our house. Remember what he said. I'll handle my family, she handles hers, but essentially, if she's going to come over here, well, different ballgame. It says, I said from the beginning that I would definitely warn any man she brings over about her. So that is exactly what I've done. I've already ruined 2 potential relationships by telling the guys the truth about her. I simply asked them, what do they know about her? They say only good things. Bella is very good about putting on a good face. What I tell you in the beginning about putting on the show. So he made it clear, any guys that she brings over, or he'd warn them. And he has every right to warn them. I mean, knowing what he knows, if he would just let her get involved with some poor sucker and do the same thing again, in my opinion, it's kind of his fault. And it's also his wife's fault. But again, it's interesting how some women can be with their family or friends, know they're trash, but they'll still back them up regardless. It's crazy. We then have a man-to-man type of conversation. I tell them exactly what happened with her and Cody and the restraining order. Both times the guys thanked me, and they told me they appreciate me watching out for them. See? Bella and me have gone at it over this. My wife tries to stay out of it, telling Bella that she shouldn't bring the guys over here if she doesn't want me to say anything. There you go. Sounds like Bella likes drama, and Bella likes to come over to the house and stir up drama because she can't stand the husband and all that. But she's bringing the guys over, so he's going to speak his mind. After all, it is his house and his castle. My wife tries to stay out of it, telling Bella she shouldn't bring the guys over here. She doesn't want me to say anything. But behind closed doors, my wife is upset and saying that I'm being an a-hole, that I'm putting her in a tough spot. I said multiple times if Bella was honest and told these guys up front, then it wouldn't be an issue. But I'm not covering up a liar, and these guys deserve a clear view. And if she has a problem with it, then don't bring the guys over. So he asked, am I the a-hole? And I say 100% no. You're doing a service to guys out there. And you know what? I bet you that I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt here and assume that his wife is cool, in the sense that if this wasn't his sister, but say just some acquaintance that he was warning the guys about, she'd probably be like, yeah, good job. You should do that. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt here. But because it's her sister, as a lot of gals do, they'll turn a blind eye and say, yeah, you know, she's like this or like that, but she's family. That type of thing. And even here, he admits that she said, don't bring the guys over here, but she's still in a tough spot. Fair enough. Well, this wife needs to stand by her man here and tell her sister, hey, you have a past, you do these things to these guys, and this guy's going to call, my husband's going to say something, and you're in his house. So if you don't want this to happen, don't bring the guys over. That's what she should do. But this guy's not the a-hole, and I'd recommend this guy does not back down, and he tells his wife that, hey, every time she comes over with another dude, I'm going to tell him, end of story. And if she doesn't like it, tough shit. Because a man has to stand his ground. He has to stand by some principles. And if he would back down and cave to the wife and her sister, I guarantee you the wife would lose respect for him. She may be mad at him right now, but if he backed down, she'd lose respect for him. And when women lose respect for guys, that's when a lot of shit goes down. So, no, he's not being the a-hole. He has every right. Now, I'm going to read some comments here. And let me tell you guys, there's a whole mixed reaction here. You got some people that are backing this guy up 100%, and you got other people that are not backing him up and saying he's being an a-hole and putting his wife in a bad, awkward position and blah, blah, blah. So I'll read through it, and you guys can decide on your own if this guy's being the a-hole or not. One guy says, and this is from a woman, she says, not the a-hole. My sister warned me about a guy I dated, and I really dodged a bullet. Ended up in a prison for harming his girl and putting her in a coma. Well, there you go. And that's from a woman. Another one says, not the a-hole. You warned her that if she brings him to your house, you will do it. And she made her choice. Difficult for your wife, but your boundaries are valid, especially because Bella hurted one of your friends. And good for you for warning other dudes about her behavior and women like Bella. And honestly, I suspect most of the you're the a-holes comment are kind of hypocritical, because if it was a story about a gal warning other gals about a guy with a history of being that way, nobody would say it was an a-hole move. Exactly. If the situation was reversed and his wife was warning other women about, say, he had a brother that was doing the same thing and was posting online, nobody would have a problem with that, right? But when it's a guy doing it, then he's the devil. She says, Bella definitely is an abuser. She was emotionally abusive towards Cody and harassed him to the point they need a court order. If she was a man, people would applaud placating her face on a poster telling her she's an abuser. Now here's one. This is from a woman saying that you are the a-hole. Of course, we had to have one of these. She says, you are damaging your wife's relationship with her sister without remorse. Except, of course, when you take it upon yourself to destroy her sister's chances starting over. You know, in a marriage, basic politeness towards your in-laws you don't like for the sake of your spouse is a basic requirement. So I'm going to interrupt this right here. Right here, she says, you're destroying the sister's chance for starting over. The sister's trash. Okay? People don't change. And she hasn't changed. He is helping other guys because he knows that she's not going to change and the same thing will happen again. So I don't want to hear this, so you're ruining your chances starting over. Another one says about basic politeness towards in-laws. I think this guy was probably a good guy to her in the beginning, but she proved time and time again to be a piece of garbage and caused turmoil because they're always fighting apparently. So that ship has sailed. She also says, why don't you try minding your own business and putting your wife before your ego? It's not about ego. She's bringing these dudes to his house. And he said flat out, if you do this, I'm going to warn them. End of story. Another one saying, you're the a-hole. What is the end game here? You decide that Bella is never allowed to have a relationship again and that she's unworthy of ever finding love. And let's not pretend that this behavior isn't fueled by your irrational hatred of her. Irrational? She's proven time and time again to be that way, and it's quite rational. And unworthy of finding love, really? A gal like this isn't capable of love. Have you ever actually tried to get along with her? This is your wife's sister. At the very least, you're definitely overstepping your bounds by sticking your nose in her business. Like you said, let your wife handle her family and you can handle your own. Also, why did you even say that you were going to do the complete opposite? Well, he did say that, but then also he said, but if she brings anybody over to my house, any dudes, I'm going to warn them. He made that clear. You all, excuse me, you all heard that. In regards, he did try to get along with her, obviously, in the beginning, but that simply didn't work. But I believe this comment's written by a woman, and obviously doesn't like this. And probably the gals that are calling him the a-hole are probably types just like his sister. I'm willing to bet you that. And they have been in this situation. They've effed up royally. And they wanted to find another sucker to date. And maybe this has happened to them. Who knows? And she also says, petty revenge. She has this is someone responding to what this woman's comment. This guy says, petty revenge. She has a restraining order because she was stalking and manipulating the narrative. Isn't that enough reason to dislike someone? Doesn't the partners deserve to know? Wouldn't you like to know if you were dating someone? Would you call him an a-hole, the person that warned you? Exactly. But any of these women that are calling this dude the a-hole and getting angry that he's doing this, if they were dating some dude that was trash and had a bad history of things, wouldn't they want to be warned, right, by a sister or sister-in-law or some other woman? But of course, if that was the case, then nobody would be calling them an a-hole. But when a dude does this, well, then that's a whole different ballgame. But anyhow, guys, that'll be a good one here, just as an example to show you how good for him. He's sticking to a code, rose before you know what, and even if it pisses off his wife, he's still doing it. But, as you're all aware, there is a price. There's a price to this, because it also could be, let's just say a guy had a sister. Let's just say a guy had a sister who was this way, right? Now, sister-in-law's sister and was warning any future people. Well, she'd have a problem with him warning other dudes, but he knows that she's complete trash, or you get my point. So, guys, important lesson is we got to stick together. You got to warn other guys out there about gals you know absolutely are going to bring a whole lot of turmoil and problems in their lives, even if it means pissing some people off along the way. And since what I do pisses people off every minute of every hour of every day, 365, you get used to it and you don't care. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let's hear what you think. Do you think this guy was going too far by telling his wife's sister's potential dates about her, or was he going too far, or not going, or he was handling it just right? I'd like to hear your opinion about that. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.